Hi, I'm Heidi Sherman from Brittle Family Law Group. Joe, you want to introduce yourself, please?
I'm Joe Gross with JGP Wealth Management.
So Joe, when parties are negotiating their divorce, oftentimes there is an equalizing payment that might be due from one party to the other in order to reach the settlement. We can't maybe allocate all of the assets in a way that gets us to an equitable division, and so some cash is needed to supplement that payment. What would be some alternatives that you might suggest for a party if there's a large equalizing payment that is due, but there's just not cash available?
I think if we're looking for alternatives right now, Heidi, I'm going to look at borrowing money somehow. And the main reason is because rates are at historically low levels. You know, really for anything, it's the best time to borrow money ever.
It's like free money.
It's pretty close to it. And so I'd look at refinancing the home would be one option. You might look at a home equity line of credit. You can also borrow against your non-retirement accounts in terms of a margin loan. And there's very, very low rates with that right now. So that could be an option that you might not consider in other times.
So what kinds of accounts are you talking about, though, when you say non-retirement accounts in a margin loan? What does that mean?
A brokerage account. So your stocks and bonds that aren't held inside of your 401k or your IRAs.
Okay.
You can actually borrow against those funds very easily at extremely low rates right now. Now, one thing to say is that with all of these things, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up to pay those back. I mean, it's one thing to borrow the money, but you want to make sure that you're diligent about paying that money back, for sure. And then the other thing, which a lot of times people will stray away from it, but right now it's not a bad way to go, is borrowing money against your 401k. Rates are so low, and it makes it difficult to invest in bonds right now in your 401k, where that's not a very fantastic rate of return that you can receive on your bonds.
Mm-hmm.
You borrow against your 401k, you're really paying yourself back. So it's going to be a reasonable rate because rates are low, and then you're paying yourself back. So you really can consider whatever you borrowed against your 401k as allocated towards fixed income or bonds, which can be a great way to fill that gap.
Some very good ideas. Thank you.
Heidi, how do you feel about mediation as an alternative?
I think mediation is a wonderful thing. You know, litigating cases is expensive and it's risky. If you go in front of a judge and ask the judge to make decisions about your life, whether they're economic or related to your kids, you've lost all control over what the result is going to be. And you have no idea you don't know what judge you're going to get. You don't know how that judge is going to decide. Judges are people. They all bring their personal experiences to their work, just like we all do. And so it's just too risky. Mediation is a way that the parties can sit down together with a mediator, with their lawyers or without their lawyers, and try to work out something that benefits everybody in the family. You can craft a creative, very specific plan for your family that you won't get from a judge. A judge is going to review your case, unfortunately, often like everybody else's. They just don't have enough time to spend, and so they give cases a broad brushstroke. So this gives you an opportunity to be really specific about meeting both parties' needs. And particularly when there are minor children involved and you want to try to maintain a co-parenting relationship with the other side, mediating is definitely beneficial to being able to maintain that kind of a more positive relationship than litigating, which is most certainly going to deteriorate or destroy that relationship to some extent. So I think it's a wonderful thing. And actually the state of Oregon does too, because they require mediation in a number of different situations.